Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is episode number 8. Today we're going to be looking at increasing diversity within the UK. If this is what you're here for, great, please do subscribe down below. I upload one of these every Monday at 4:30 p.m. I'm going through the whole A-level specification. If you've missed any of the other videos in this series, I'll try and remember to link it up here. If not, it's on my channel somewhere. I've also done a load of other videos within the A-level geography specification, so go ahead, have a look for them. And yeah, let's just get straight on into this video. Head versus heart. Ben works in Leeds. He graduated from Leeds University and already it feels like home. But like many graduates in northern cities, he's finding it really difficult to get a well-paid job. His close friends are in Leeds. He's had plenty of offers to work in call centres at about a £15,000 a year salary. But he feels that that's not why he went to university. Many of his university colleagues have moved to London and now earn over £35,000 a year. What should he do? Leave or stay? It's a head versus heart decision. If Ben moves, he will join others who are contributing to London's fastest ever population growth. Each year, over 2.5 million people move around the UK, which has one of the highest internal migration rates in Europe. The popular hotspots are in London and South East England. However, internal migration is just one explanation why different parts of the UK are growing in population at different rates. The process of population change is a complex series of inflows and outflows of people. It has 5 variables or components: flows in, birth and migrant inflow; flows out, death and migrant outflow; plus temporary inflows and outflows such as armed forces personnel leaving or returning home from services overseas. In 2013, the UK's net overall population had increased by just over 400,000. The 2 largest contributors of growth were births minus deaths, which contributed 212,100 in 2013. 56% of the growth, and immigration minus emigration, which contributed a net 183,400 in 2013, 44% of the growth. London's population dynamics. London's population dynamics are interesting. The overall population growth was greater in London than the UK's other standard economic regions. In 2013, London had the UK's largest natural increase and net international migration. However, one further population dynamic is at work. In spite of a high inward migration to London, caused by such people as Ben, as even greater outflow from London is taking place at the same time. In 2013, London had the greatest outward internal migration, a deficit of 55,000. The move away from cities. Why are so many people leaving London? There are 2 basic reasons for the outflow of people. Whilst young graduates like Ben are moving into London, the greater outflow is occurring amongst those of middle classes, of middle and retirement age. Their most frequent destinations are the South East, caused mainly by families wanting more space and children, and the South West, caused mainly by those retiring. This is actually a national trend. Since 2008, there has been an increase in net internal migration away from cities to more rural settlements. As a result, London has become a younger city, while other regions have aged, especially in the southwest. London's rapidly rising property prices since 2000 have also given many older age groups significant financial assets, allowing them to sell a flat or small house within London in return for a much larger house outside. They are usually long-term residents who have seen their properties substantially increase in value since they bought them. What is left behind is a capital city with an increasing population of young professionals, as well as immigrant and ethnic communities. In 2011, the year of the last census, before 2021, but we've got the data from 2011. In 2011, Newham in East London became the first London borough to register a minority white British population. The outflow of people from London has had a long history. In the 1960s, geographers in both the UK and the USA used to talk about the white flight of middle-class white families from cities such as London or New York for more spacious suburbs. The term white flight suggested an underlying racism. This protest has had several stages. Those living in the outer suburbs of a city when, for example, they couldn't afford property in a suburbanised village. When they left, a reshuffling of residents would occur, with better off migrant communities dispersing from inner city areas towards the outer suburbs that the white middle classes had left. Now migration is more complex, but the same kind of process occurs. For example, Asian Indian families living in Southall move further out to suburban towns such as Ivor in Berkshire. Understanding UK immigration. International migration has changed UK culture and society. Since the end of the Second World War in 1945, inward flows have come from two main sources: Europe and beyond Europe. Those born beyond Europe mainly consist of people from former British colonies such as India, Pakistan and the West Indies. Post-war immigration has had two major phases. Firstly, post-colonial migration. The British government promoted large-scale immigration from former British colonies from the 1940s to the 1960s. They gave these migrants right to settle in the UK and also sponsored them to fill particular job vacancies, such as in the newly founded NHS. Once established in the UK, a migrant could apply for family members from their home country to join them. These migrants form the majority of non-UK born residents in 2014. Many of these migrants experienced discrimination in both housing and employment, so even up to 50 years later, their grandchildren still live in areas of urban deprivation. And then secondly, the impacts of globalisation. During the late 1990s, a period emerged when the UK became known as Cool Britannia. This term has long since fallen into disuse, but it branded the attraction of the UK for its global links to companies for work and its global culture for a varied and liberal lifestyle. As a result, the UK has become a popular destination of choice for many international migrants. People from every country in the world now live in the UK. Many are London-based, but substantial numbers have also dispersed elsewhere upon arriving in the UK, influencing local cultures, languages and regions right across the country. As a result of globalisation, the UK's population has risen rapidly for three reasons. Many TNCs encourage immigration from the USA, Australia, South Africa and New Zealand to work in the knowledge economy, particularly in London. The demand for specific skills can only be satisfied by overseas recruitment. After 1992, the Maastricht Agreement allowed free movement of workers between EU member states. The expansion of the EU in 2004 led to increased economic migration to the UK. Polish migrants now represent the UK's largest ever inward migration. Over 600,000 Poles have arrived in the UK since 2004. Younger international migrants have also helped to combat an ageing UK workforce, as well as in the knowledge economy. International migrants also provide skills and workers for the caring professionals, hotels, retails and catering, agriculture and construction projects such as the London 2012 Olympic Park and London Crossrail. Migrants in rural areas. Rural parts of the UK, not just urban areas, are also affected by migration. Lincolnshire, in eastern England, is a farming county. Its fertile soils make the UK's most productive area for growing vegetables such as cabbages, peas and broccoli. Vegetable picking and packing there is now done largely by Eastern Europeans for low wages. The arrival of the Eastern Europeans has had a huge impact. Boston, one of Lincolnshire's largest towns, saw its overseas-born population increase by 470% between 2001 and 2011. Some locals who like diversity have welcomed the migrants, but others, who believe that migrants undercut local labour rates, have not welcomed them. In 2015, the Financial Times reported that Boston's Latvian community was suffering abuse from contractors supplying vegetable pickers to farms, known as gangmasters. Many Latvian pickers were also being paid below the legal £6.21 farm minimum wage, and they also had excessive costs for accommodation and transport deducted from their wages. The Financial Times reported that, far from draining the public purse of tax credits or taking the jobs from native workers, some migrants are being ruthlessly exploited by gang masters and enriching criminals who prey on the poor language skills and ignorance of local labour laws. And that is the end of episode number 8. I hope you learned something. I hope you can take something away from this. If you did, please do subscribe down below. It really helps me out, and I'm trying to reach as many people as possible. So if you think you know anyone who might find this useful, please do share it with them, and I will see you same time, same place next week, Monday, 4:30 p.m. Bye guys.